Hey everyone, today I'm doing a video of this circa late teens to early 20s Robbins & Myers model 5304 16-inch oscillating fan. I actually picked this one up not too far off from home here, off Facebook Marketplace from a guy who supposedly restored it. He picked it up back in the 90s at an antique shop, and apparently it was all rusted and spray painted. But got it for a pretty good price. Had to fix a couple things on the restoration, but his paintwork is pretty good, and the brass has taken on a pretty nice even glow of patina over the last almost 30 years since he restored it. This is my only large 16-inch six-blade fan. I love 6-wing fans in general. However, I'm not sure if this blade is original to this fan, which I'll get to here in a moment. Turn it to the side here. A couple things I did. When the previous owner restored it, he used some pretty ugly heavy gauge rubber power cord and head wire. I replaced those with proper cloth covered cord that would have been more period correct to this fan. These fans would have also originally have come with these pinstripes. He hadn't recreated those. I just used some pinstripe tape to do it. It was pretty cheap. The Robbins & Myers pinstripes are pretty hard to replicate because they originally came very thin from the factory. So it was kind of hard finding a tape like that. And a lot of the freehand paints that I have are just not great for this application. Like I said, the paintwork was decent, not amazing, but as of right now, I'm not really, can't really be bothered to completely repaint it, just because it's not completely perfect. And then the brass polishing job on the blades was pretty good as well. There's a couple stains that could be polished out, but again, that's a lot of work. And it's a presentable fan for the time being. I also added a lot of the screws. The original screws had been replaced with some ugly Phillips head screws, which the Phillips head screws didn't become common use till the 60s, so obviously not period correct for this fan. And the original steel screws are hard to find in the slotted heads. So since it was already kind of restored, I just picked up some brass hardware that was available at a local Ace Hardware, and I think it accentuates the fan well. Now, what I mentioned earlier about this blade possibly not being original to this fan, if you look at this motor tag, it's, I believe, aluminum, either steel or aluminum, and they didn't really use tags like that up until the 20s. The 5304 was made with an aluminum 4-wing blade for a long time. And particularly with this thumb screw oscillating wheel, this has a very wide sweep of motion. Screws over here, you can twist that and it adjusts the throw on the oscillating arm. And those wheels didn't become commonplace on these fans up until the 20s. Beforehand, they just had a solid disc that had a couple different tapped holes at different positions, and that's how you had your different arcs of oscillation. Now, these blades were in use up until I think 1917, maybe 1919, for the 6-wing brass blades with these straight line rivets. The later blades had a three rivet pattern that was in use, I believe, up to the 20s. And then the cage, of course, with the brass badge may also not be original to the fan, but I'm not sure. But Robbins & Myers was also known for taking leftover old stock and using it to complete later fans. So there's a possibility the blade was added on to a later fan so that they could sell it. But either way, I think it looks good. It's rated at 1.3 amps on the tag, and it runs under that, so that's another indication that This could be original fan. One thing too is Robinson Myers did not wind 6-pole residential fan motors for their fans. Instead, to decrease the load on the motor of the additional weight of the 2 blades, as opposed to a normal 4-blade fan, they reduced the pitch on their 6-wing fan blades so that it didn't put as much of a load on the motor. So pretty much all their 6-wing residential fans were just they're 4-pole motors that spun these 6-wing blades very fast, and they had a reduced pitch to compensate for the load of the extra weight of the blades. But anyway, we'll stop rambling here. It's set to oscillate, and I'll start it up on high. Turn it down to medium. Of course, low. Back to high. And off. That's a really long spin down time because of that heavy blade. All right, thanks for watching.